your guys because or zone turns into man at some point with him, and then you have to stay alive. That's hard to do because sometimes you get your back turned, you don't see the quarterback, you're chasing your guy, and obviously it's a difficult situation to be put in as a secondary guy. But we told our guys up front and in the back end, the play's not dead until you hear the whistle, because it could. I mean, he stays alive for 6 or 7 seconds.
No, the bye week's usually a time for evaluation. What kinds of things did you see? What were the main takeaways from the first 4 weeks?
Well, I think one thing that we evaluate, we think we're getting better as a defensive group and as a football team. You know, we played much better in the second 2 games than we did the first 2. It's kind of obvious, but we did much better in the run. We created turnovers. We did a better job rushing the passer. We had 7 sacks. We actually had, a bunch of sacks before that, but 4 against Green Bay. But what I'm saying is we got better and better as we played, and as we get settled into what we do. And I just think that we improved dramatically the last couple of weeks.
Jim, what do you see in Jenkins and Jackson coming off their suspensions? Are they at a point where they can be active and play a role if you want them to this weekend?
You know what? We're still kind of in an evaluation process with those two. I think they're in pretty good shape based off what I saw on just for 2 practices, Monday and Wednesday. Again, we'll see how they go today, tomorrow, and then we'll sit down with Coach Shanahan to figure out how we want to use them, activate them, all that. But right now we're still in the evaluation process with those guys.
Jim, one of the things you emphasized coming into the season was getting a more sustained pass rush. You guys have gotten that. In addition to getting Brian Arakpo back, what else has been the cause for the uptick?
Well, I think we're doing a much better job rushing the quarterback all the way around, even the back end, the secondary when we blitz, which we haven't done a lot of. But obviously Ryan's doing a nice job and Rax. But I think that's one area we've been doing well, and even from the first game we've been doing well. The sacks, obviously we want to keep working on the turnover issue, and then we've done a good job the last couple of weeks stopping the run. We can do that, and then the big plays, just something we just keep working on. But I think we've done a good job in that area.
Jim, since I think the Green Bay game, I think you guys are like 31% getting off the field on 3rd down. What has been the key that's kind of turned things around for you, especially in the second half, or from the second quarter on in the last 2 games?
Well, I'll go back. The first game was kind of we got stuck in a situation we're not sure where we were going to get and all that. So, and I told you I'll take the blame for that first game. But we've done better and better tackling the catch. We've done better rushing. We get in situations where we're stopping the team and making them one-dimensional, stopping the run, where we can get in situations where we can rush the quarterback and get them in situations where 3rd and manageable situations. So if we can continue to do that, and obviously stopping the run is number 1, and getting us where you're in situations where you can have the advantage. Even last week the last game we had 3 3rd and 1s, I think it is, and a 4th and 1 we made stops on, which is it's outstanding. But we want to be in those longer situations if we can.
Are there areas in the back end that you feel a lot better about in the last couple games as opposed to the first couple?
Well, I feel much better just because we're getting situated on who's playing. Brandon's playing. We got Reed involved, and the safety spots kind of secure, and D and Josh have been playing well. So you feel good from that standpoint.
What's the trickle down with Brandon playing? What's the impact on the corners? Do you see a difference in how they play just having him back there?
Well, I just think Brandon's a good football player, and he hasn't played in a while. So I think the more and more he's on the grass, the better and better he's going to get.
We haven't really seen you have to implement Rob since he broke out with Arakpo and Kerrigan at the same time. How difficult is it going to be to get all those guys on the field? We keep talking about Rob coming back. Is it realistic that he'll play more than 10 or 12 snaps or something like that?
Yeah, I can't say that, to be honest with you, because I don't know. I don't even know if he'll dress yet, from that situation, because again, guy misses a month, you kind of go through the evaluation process where he's, first of all, you find out where he's at physically, and then mentally, what did he retain, because you're talking about 3 days work going to play a game. But we'll work it and see where he's at the end of the week.
Fast forwarding then like a month when he is physically ready. I mean, is it possible to have all 3 of those guys?
Yeah, I think it is.
It is?
I think it is.
Jim, what's the importance of having a good foundation nose tackle, a guy who's reliable enough in there?
I think that's kind of where you build the defense from. You'll see all these teams that run a 3-4. Kansas City drafts Poe from Memphis in the first round. Casey Hampton was with Pittsburgh for years. Joel Steed before that. I think they had 2 nose guards for the last 20 years. That's kind of the guy you build it around. You like to have a guy that can handle the middle because he's the guy that stops the runs from tackle to tackle. And then obviously if he can do other things besides that, that's a plus. Like Poe does, he's an outstanding job, and I think our guy's a very good football player. There's a bunch of those guys around, but I think kind of that's where it starts at, the 2 outside guys, and then you build around it.
You've praised Barry several times this season. When did you start to actually believe that he was the best nose tackle in the league?
Well, we thought, when we signed him off the Giants, that he thought it was a great position for him because, he was really a 3-technique shaded nose for the New York Giants. And then when we got him, we thought he'd be an ideal guy just because of his size, athleticism, smart, Northwest grad, all that stuff. So kind of all added up.
Okay. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, you talk about, stopping the run, making the team one-dimensional. But when you do that against Dallas, that one dimension has a guy who can throw for 500 yards, Dez Bryant, Jason Witten. You got to kind of alter that thinking a little bit?
Well, I'll say this. Last year he threw 65 times against us for 365 yards or whatever it was. And if you break it down, you go, ooh, 365 yards. But then you go 65 times, that's about right. So did they win the game? To me, that's the most important thing. I don't care if he throws 70 times. But if you don't have if somebody's running the ball on you don't have an answer for it, it's a long day. And they're doing both, it's a long day. So at least in the passing game, we get turnovers. You get a chance to get sacks, fumbles, and I think that's the big thing. If we can stop the run, and that's universal, I think, with anybody that's coached defense or anybody that's been around a defensive coach will tell you that.
Coach, it seems like Jason Witten's obviously the safety valve for Tony. He's not the fastest guy, not the quickest guy, not the strongest guy, but what makes him so difficult to stop?
He made me. I don't know. He's deceivingly fast. I think he's a great route runner. Does a good job pushing off. He's an excellent blocker. He's one of my favorite guys to watch play. Even when I was with the Saints and he was in University of Tennessee, we were going to draft him. I thought the guy's going to be an outstanding player, and he's turned into it, and he's consistently the same guy from year one to now. I don't see any drop-off.
Jim, what do you see in Amerson right now, where he is in his development?
I think he's much improved. I think he's much improved from the first 2 games. I think he's got more confidence in what he's doing. He made the nice play against the Raiders for the touchdown, but he has that ability to do that all the time. And, being a young guy, I think he's still 20 years old. He's a junior coming out. I think his future is bright ahead of him. A big, long guy that can run, and he's athletic. Athletics. I think he's got a great future ahead of him.
As D'Angelo seems to get up for these big matchups, what is it that he's able to do well, even though he's given up a size disadvantage to Dez Bryant?
Well, we haven't decided exactly what we're going to do in that situation, if we're going to have him on Dez or not, because David's on the other side. You got a guy that's long, so we haven't really decided what we're going to do yet. But I think D'Angelo kind of thrives in these situations Sunday night, and the lights, all that. Good players usually do.
Jim, what are the challenges overall of just stopping Dez?
Well, I think it's a combination of everybody. It's you got to stop the run game. I think their line's playing excellent. I really do. They're doing a great job protecting the quarterback. Dez is a beast. He's a huge, big body guy that can run and catch and run after yards after catch is outstanding. So you got your work cut out. I mean, seeing him, Witten, the young kid from Baylor, Williams, who I really like. I think they got a good, formidable group, and I like the running back. And then obviously, quarterback's always been one of my favorite. Okay.